Next up we have question C, and we're given an exponential function this time. Looks like a positive a value. In fact, a is 1. They've told us that a is 1 because they're not even asking for it. So y equals 2 to the x minus p plus q. Remember, our p is moving it left and right, and our q value is moving it up and down. Now the left-right is a bit difficult to see what's happening, so we're probably going to have to use another strategy to find that. But the q value we can read off straight from this asymptote, y equals 3, in which case we know that q equals 3 because the whole graph is shifted or translated up by 3. So we know that y equals 2 to the x minus p plus 3. Okay, how do we find out what p is? Seems to be a similar strategy each time. We're just going to sub this value in. This time I'm going to tell you sub 1, 4. And so our y value is 4, so 4 equals 2, x is 1, so 1 minus p plus 3. Okay, got an equation to solve. Subtract 3 from each side. 1 equals 2 to the 1 minus p. Okay, exponential equation to solve. Let's make both sides powers of 2. So this is the same as 2 to the 0 equals 2 to the 1 minus p. So in other words, if the bases are the same, the exponents must be the same. So 0 equals 1 minus p. So p should just be 1 because 1 minus 1 gives us 0. So our final equation is y equals 2 to the x minus 1. And we've plussed, what was our q? It was up here. Q equals 3. So plus 3. And just as a bonus, if you got into the equation of y equals 2 to the x, this is just an optional extra. If I plotted y equals 2 to the x plus 3, what would it look like? Well, we know from this that it must have been left by one of this. So it's going to look like that. Same graph to the left. What would that y-intercept be? Well, x value is 0. 2 to the 0 is anything to the power of 0 is 1. So 1 plus 3 is 4. So you may possibly have seen that our p-value must have been 1, knowing that this graph's y-intercept was 0, 4. Therefore, this must have been shifted right. But definitely safer just substitute in that other point and we'll get there because we can show our logic as well. So there we go. That is question C.